You're probably wondering why your characters do no damage, despite listening to the advice from the people of Reddit.
Well, that just means Crit doesn't have vaporization.
Stop and shut the fuck up, okay? I have calculated the best stat to get for all reaction types, and yes, different elemental reactions have very different builds. Now let's start with amplifying elemental reactions this video. These include Vaporize and Melt. Now, what stat do you think is better for a main damage character? Now, if you answered all EM, you are wrong. And for those who chose a balance between EM and crit and damage, you are also wrong. The answer here is actually to ignore Elemental Mastery entirely and build entirely crit rate, crit damage, and just flat attack in general. Now, you're probably asking yourself, the hell is this guy talking about? Where's his proof? Now, I won't bore you with the math. So basically, amplifying reactions, such as Vaporize, as its name would suggest, amplifies damage for base damage. Now this damage can crit too. Now the damage formula for increasing our elemental mastery is this. In simple terms, the more EM we get, the less each point of EM is worth. So imagine you have to make a big piece of paper smaller. Using EM is like folding that piece of paper, and imagine every single time you fold that paper, it's basically you getting 10 elemental mastery. The papers fold easily at the beginning, right? Then we keep folding and folding. It gets harder and harder to fold. Elemental mastery is basically like that. The more you fold, the worse it gets. Then back to crit and base damage. This would just be straight up cutting the piece of paper. Now imagine, our 100th cut is just as easy as our first cut in the paper. So why would we ever fold the paper when we can cut it? And it's not even close to how much better this raw damage is compared to elemental mastery for amplifying damage. Because what's elemental mastery for? Making our elemental reactions better, right? Not your physical damage. It's unavoidable, especially in the early game, that your main damage character will have to do damage that has no elemental reaction to it, due to cooldowns and energy recharge. When this happens, our elemental mastery just becomes a completely useless and dead stat, while our crit and attack is still just as valuable as before.